Hi, thanks for taking the time to watch this video. My name is Jack. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about CPMs, specifically on Facebook, but also on other platforms like Google, LinkedIn, TikTok advertising. So CPM stands for cost per milli, or cost per 1,000 impressions. So if you have a very high CPM, I'm going to show you how to check this. If your CPM is really high, you're going to be spending a lot to reach people. Therefore, your result, your cost per lead, your cost per sale is going to be extremely expensive. So this video is super actionable because I'm going to show you a few tips on how you can reduce your CPMs, how you can make sure they're within the normal ranges for your business. And this is going to really help you improve performance. So stick with it to the end because I've got loads of actionable stuff that I think you can implement directly after watching this video. So I'm here on the Facebook Ads Manager for one of our clients, and you can see here we've got 5 campaigns. Throughout December so far, we spent £46,000 marketing this business. And if I scroll across to the CPM, which by the way, if it's not visible to you, just go to the columns at the top and click performance and clicks. It's going to take you through here and you'll be able to see your CPMs. We can see we're spending an average of £9, but based on a few different campaign factors, we are spending a lot more or a lot less per 1,000 impressions. So just to clear up exactly what CPM is, Facebook have an inventory of users. So when we want to actually market towards those people, Facebook is going to charge us, and they're going to charge us based on the cost per 1,000 impressions. So when you see your CPC, your cost per click, that is a result of how much you're spending to reach your audience and how many people have clicked. And those numbers combined give you your cost per click. So it's not like the click itself is expensive. Typically the inventory is expensive and not many people have clicked on your ad. That's why you have a high CPC. So this link clicks and cost per click, that metric is a result of other metrics. That's why it's quite important to look at this as an indication, but that isn't the root cause. Typically the root cause of a problem in terms of if you're seeing really expensive results can be your CPM, and it's also an indication of how well you are aligning the way that Facebook want you to market as well. So looking at this campaign set here, you can see we have this campaign at the top, which is a US campaign. So we're marketing to the United States, so the inventory is a lot more expensive. These 3 campaigns at the top here, these are all the same campaigns. So the ad copy is the same, the creatives are the same, the landing page is a complete replica, identical landing pages. So the only thing that is changed is the location. So you can see the US is the most expensive. This is because there is a lot of competition. The inventory is higher, it's more expensive. If we're marketing to a country like India, which we have tried for this specific business, the CPM is like £1, £2, even less. Okay, sometimes they're like 50 pence. It's so cheap because the amount that people are going to respond, the demand for that inventory is lower, so it's cheaper, okay, compared to, let's say, the United States, where everyone is hammering these people and they have a lot of buying intent and buying power, so it's more valuable to an advertiser. So when we marketed this specific business in India, the results weren't that great. We got leads at like 9 pence per lead, compared to, if we look at this month, we're spending, £8, £4 per lead for this business. So you think, well, surely at 9 pence per lead, you've got so much more volume, you can get sales. Well, yes, but the product is also around £1,000. So, that is comparatively to, let's say, US income or a UK income, that is so much more for a country like India. That's why this CPM is lower, because their purchasing power is less. The inventory is respectively less as well, okay, in terms of reaching it. So the US most expensive, and then we're dropping down to the UK, £14.50, and then we've got the EU, £4.85. So the same type of logic applies in terms of demand for the inventory, how much people's kind of buying power is, how valuable that inventory is to advertisers will dictate the CPMs to some extent. So the location is a big factor. So that's the first thing. This doesn't necessarily just apply to region. This can apply inside, let's say, the UK. You've got more expensive locations and cheaper locations based on where you're marketing. Other businesses that are competing for that same inventory, you will see a difference. For example, if you're marketing in Bournemouth, which is where we're based, versus London, the CPMs can be very different. If you create a little radius and you market towards those people, you're going to see different CPMs. So location, both kind of locally and also if you're just looking at the regions, the countries in general, is going to be extremely different. The second point is your ad copy. So this is something that you can actually change. You typically won't be changing your location necessarily, but you will be able to change your ad copy. So let's say your CPM is typically, when you maybe look across all of your campaigns for the last year, maybe your CPM is £5 or £10. If suddenly you launch a campaign and your CPM is £50, and we've seen this happen where it goes from like this baseline of like £10 all the way up to £50. If that happens, there's typically something wrong, and your ad copy could be one of the first things that I would recommend checking. So when your CPM gets hiked up, it's usually because Facebook has flagged something and they don't necessarily tell you. So when we did a lot of marketing for gyms and weight loss facilities, we had to be very careful about the wording that we used, because there's a lot of scam artists out there in that industry. There's a lot of people selling products that don't work, you have supplements that don't work, and courses and programs for people to lose weight, and it just never really happens. And if you think about what Facebook want, they want people to have a pleasant user experience. So they don't want people to go on their platform and have a terrible experience, maybe buy products that don't work or get scammed. That is going to hurt Facebook as a result of that. So by us marketing in a very kind of abrupt way in terms of weight loss and fitness, that can actually get flagged quite heavily, and we can spend a lot more to reach that inventory. There's also a ton of competition in that industry as well. So by being categorized as that, I believe it's pushing up our CPMs quite a lot. When we tweaked our ad copy to be less abrupt and to have less bold claims and kind of make sure we're really compliant with Facebook policies, we saw those CPMs drop right back down. And sometimes it was as simple as just removing a few keywords. Now, I don't have an extensive list of keywords, but what I do know is that when you look at it, you can kind of see and you can test a few things. And when you relaunch the ads and you remove some of these kind of buzzwords, you will see the CPMs drop right back down again. So this is really important. The other thing is if you're doing engagement bait. So you're saying, comment below, like below, tag your friends. If you're saying that in the advert copy, Facebook will be able to tell that, and you will actually get a notification. It will flag your ad and it will say, this is a low quality ad, we're going to show it to less people. So again, that's going to hurt your CPMs. The third point about CPMs is going to be the type of business that you're marketing. So kind of aligns with what I was saying before, the product or service that you're offering. Depending on that, you're going to pay a different amount per 1,000 impressions. So when we're marketing something that is maybe some type of employment or financial benefit, so it's some type of course related to making more money or furthering their career, that is going to be more expensive than if we're marketing, let's say, shoes or some type of clothing brand. Now, it's not always this isn't like a hard and fast rule where it always plays out this way. It does depend on the account, the advertiser, the business. There are things that kind of make this not exactly linear. However, as a rule of thumb, and what we've seen generally, is it's going to be more expensive to market things that are related to finances, employment, any sort of things like that. That is going to get categorized. Again, fitness is another one, weight loss, things like this. They're going to be more expensive. So depending on your type of business, you're going to spend more to reach 1,000 people. And there's not really too much you can do about that, because obviously you're not going to change your industry. However, the way that you're marketing it needs to be aligned with what Facebook wants. So I'd recommend reading their advertising policies. If your ads typically get flagged for certain policies, I would again read those, make sure you're being very compliant with them, and looking at ways that you can provide a positive user experience without violating what Facebook are going to want from you as an advertiser, using a bit of common sense mixed with extensive looking at their policies. And that will again help you reduce your CPMs by approaching the advertising the right way. The final thing is going to be 2 points really, which is the creative and the destination that you're sending people to. So we spoke about the ad copy. The creative will also make a difference. If you have a creative that is very engaging, people are clicking on it, people are sharing it, people are watching it, that is going to reduce your CPMs, because Facebook is going to see this is something that people want to see. It's not just something that we're pushing on people because they're being paid to do so. This is actually something that is a piece of content that our inventory enjoy. So you're going to see a lower CPM. And the final point I mentioned there was the destination. So where you're actually sending people. If you're sending them to a landing page that is buggy, it's slow, it's maybe advertising something that's not really that compliant with Facebook, your ad is either going to get blocked, or you're just going to pay a lot to reach that same inventory, okay? So you want to make sure that, again, every part of your user journey aligns with what Facebook is going to want from you to help with that CPM. And you can use your CPM as a kind of metric and a gauge to see how well you are doing that, based on the factors that I spoke about in this video. So look, I hope that helps. CPM is a great metric to look at. I would recommend you keep an eye on it. We don't obsess over reducing this by a few pence, by a few pounds. Instead, what we're doing is we're seeing, one, is our CPM heading up or heading down? Of course, over time, it's probably going to head up as just inventory on each platform generally gets more expensive. However, it shouldn't be hiking up loads and loads and loads. Instead, if we're seeing these massive spikes in CPMs, we're actually going to review what we are marketing, and we're going to say, how can we do this better? And how can we do this in a way that is not going to see us get flagged and penalized for this type of wording or this type of destination that we're sending people to, or this type of creative? And instead, we can actually reduce those CPMs, reach people for less, and then we're going to see better results from that. One final point that I didn't include in the main list, however, it is essential that I include it in this video, is going to be the audience. So if you are running a retargeting campaign, which actually is this one down here, you can see here the CPMs are higher for this one in comparison to, and this is targeting the UK as well, in comparison to the EU and the UK. So this one's quite a lot higher. Depending on your audience, you're going to spend more. So if certain interests are going to be more expensive, certain retargeting audiences are going to be more expensive, lookalike audiences can be more expensive. So anything where you are categorizing someone in a typically smaller bracket, that is going to be more expensive to reach Typically. Again, it's not always the case, but typically you're going to be spending more. So things like retargeting can become quite expensive from a CPM perspective. Lookalikes can also get expensive from a CPM perspective. Certain interests as well can be quite expensive to market to. Now, the thing I would say is with a retargeting example, you want to take into consideration the cost per result. If your cost per result is well within your KPIs, but it's quite expensive to reach people, well, that's okay, because really we care about the result, we don't care about the cost to reach people. However, on your cold audience campaigns, let's say you're going broad and suddenly you see your CPM go really expensive, that is an indication to look at your campaign, to look at what you're doing, to see if you've added something in that you need to take away. It does not necessarily mean that just because on a retargeting ad it's a bit more expensive, you need to start changing things. So you need to take into consideration your audience as one of the factors that we spoke about in this video. So look, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you got a ton of valuable knowledge from it. Please click the subscribe button, click the bell icon. It really does help me out a lot. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Leave any comments in the box below. I'll get back to you and I will see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.